Hey y'all, today we're talking about Delta, April 26th and 27th. I myself am not going to be in the background videos because I was busy working instead of fishing. Brian took the camera out and took a couple of our buddies out and knocked them and caught a whole bunch of fish. Weather was, in the mornings, it was like low 50s. In the afternoons, we got to the 70s. It was windy both days.
Very windy.
Blue skies. I don't remember there being clouds or anything like that.
No, it was blue skies.
Yeah, and water temperatures between 60s up to 70s, depending on where you ran.
Yep.
And then your water clarity is the typical Delta water clarity. It depends on where you go, depends on how clear your water is.
Yeah, I found some spots that were 10-foot viz, but then there was other spots that you couldn't see anything.
Yeah. So typical Delta. So Saturday you took a couple of buddies out.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
So we went out, we started fishing, we started power fishing right away, right? Like they were throwing frogs, chatterbait, stuff like that. I was throwing square bills. I ended up hooking up with some fish, but I was throwing a hybrid hunter. What color is that?
Smooth color.
Smooth.
It's called the smooth.
The hybrid hunter. I picked up a couple fish, and they ate front hook. They're eating it good, but it just wasn't a very consistent bite. And neither of the other boys were getting anything on the chatterbait, spinnerbait, or frog, right? It really didn't feel that froggy. With the winds were a consistent 10 miles an hour, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a really froggy feeling to me, right?
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, so we ran around a little bit, checked some spots. You get into a spot, you have that gut feeling it wasn't right. We went to a couple other spots. We got into the back of a slough, and one of the guys picked up a watermelon red orange spliced Cinco, and he started getting bites, and I hooked it up, wacky rig, threw it out there, let it dead stick, and I stuck a 509. It was a pretty good fish, and then that's where it started, right? That water color was a little stained, but they're eating that color. We couldn't really get anything on anything else there. We fished that for a while, moved on, checked a couple other spots, went into a back of another slough, and immediately I went, because of the water clarity, I went to a smoked natural, it's a gray, it's natural shad Cinco. Again, wacky rig, no weight, just flipping it out there, letting it sink. And by that time it was low tide, right? So all your troughs were getting narrower. If you hit those troughs, you were hitting fish. And we proceeded just to have a great time. One of them did throw the bluegill color in the Cinco, and we caught a couple fish on that.
Bluegill color is smoke, black, blue, or
and
something
gold
like that.
flake.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a bluegill, right?
Yeah.
It's a little darker color, a little contrast, right? But caught a couple fish on that, but mainly that natural shad was the ticket in that clear water. They were eating it. And when I mean eating it, I was pulling it out of the throats, and it was a great time. I was catching fish off the back of the boat. I let them run the front of the boat, and I sat in the chair and caught some fish. It was good times.
Yeah. For those who are curious about the camera footage in the background, why there's no 5-pounder, there was camera issues.
Yeah.
On Saturday. There's a couple of fish catches right here in the beginning of it, and then it switches off. So unfortunately, didn't get the 5-pounder on there.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much it for Saturday?
That's pretty much it for Saturday. I went and had a hot dog at the end of the day.
Yep, got a hot dog.
You jealous, huh?
Yeah. I'd rather have a hot dog than working, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Sunday, you took a different one of the guy that actually just fished the tournament, the Berryessa tournament with me, Eric.
Right.
How'd that go with him?
Oh, we had a great time. Great time. I went back out Sunday just because of the camera's footage, just to get you guys some information about the water, right? So we went back into one of the sloughs all the way in the back, and I was like, well, the natural shad Cinco was doing it. This is what we're gonna do. Went back there, it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
I tried.
Is it a different slough than before?
No, same slough.
Same slough?
Same slough, just earlier in the morning and high tide. Now, I tried a whopper plopper. I tried square bill. Tried a couple different things, trying to see, because I was thinking maybe the high tide, it would have changed things. They would have been more moving around. And we caught a couple dinks, and I was like, man, what is going on? And so I thought about it, and I went to a watermelon red Cinco. This is a yum dinger. And I threw it out there because I bought a 30 pack at one point in time, and I figured if we're just fun fishing, why not use them? And I threw it out there, and at first cast, fish. All I could think about is maybe the sun wasn't up all the way yet, right? And it was still darker.
Yum dingers do fall a little bit slower than a regular Cinco.
Yeah.
Could be a fall rate thing. Probably not. Probably going to be more related to color or location.
Yeah. So we caught some fish doing that, and we kept working through that, and started working around, going around the bank. The sun started coming up, so I tried it again, right? Like trying to keep them honest, and guess what?
Did it work with the sun?
It's working with the sun.
Yeah.
Natural shad. The guy I was fishing with hadn't really flipped and punched that much. So we did a lot of talking, and he was doing a pretty good job. Like, he was catching fish with me left and right. We're catching some good fish. I lost a couple here and there.
Yeah.
But that was a good bite. But I was noticing the water height compared to the day before, and there was a lot of water in those tules. Where the day before, when it was low tide, those fish were on the outside.
Yeah.
I was really feeling like they were pushing up into the middle. So why not punch?
Yeah. Might as well. If there's extra water in the delta, there's usually a fish in there with it.
Yeah. So I tied on a punch rig because I didn't have one tied on, and I went
fishing too many lakes.
Fishing a lot of lakes, right? I went with the Man Bear Pig by Reaction Innovations. It's watermelon red, Man Bear Pig. It's just a really cool name to say.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was throwing a Man Bear Pig, right?
Yeah. Random name, but...
Random name. But I started punching with that, throwing it in there, into the junk, and I picked up a fish, punching with the Man Bear Pig. And I was getting a lot of bites with it. I was missing some. The arms got ripped off of it. But we stuck some good fish doing that. And then if it wasn't, you fish the delta, you fish what is in front of you, right? Like, if you have punching area, you're gonna punch. If you don't have a punching area, you're gonna Cinco. If you have just rocks, you're gonna throw a crankbait or something. And we worked through progressions of that, going through there, and again went right back to that natural shad if I didn't have a punch area, and they were eating it. So for the most part, Cinco was doing most of the heavy lifting. What baits did you cycle through that you threw that didn't work? So you got like chatterbait, spinnerbait? Chatterbait, spinnerbait, frog, a couple different colors of frog, poppin' frog, pop-R, right? I did a square bill, red square bill, like the jabberjaw.
Yeah.
Red square bill, like we caught before in one of the videos, and it didn't work. And that's why I went to that smooth color hybrid hunter when I caught some fish, but it wasn't as productive as I wanted it to be, right?
And then on Saturday, the one thing that you didn't mention on Saturday. Sean and Matt were throwing the Cinco Texas rigged, and you were
Yes.
throwing wacky rigged.
Yes.
And that made a difference.
Yeah, they were throwing a weight in it, and they're throwing it straight lined, right? Like
Yeah.
hooking it up
Texas rig
style, or small child, or what is it?
Tiny child rig.
Tiny child
if you don't
rig.
know what that is, look it up. Matt throws that a lot, and he kicks my butt on that
Yes.
thing. It's basically you take your Cinco, you Texas rig it normally, so the line's coming out the top, and then you put a weight on the bottom.
Yeah.
So when you pitch it into things, it jets into places because the weight's down, and it leaves your hook up. So
Yeah.
if they eat it, they actually get the hook if they even bite the tail of it.
Correct.
Because the weight's down at the bottom. It's a pretty cool rig. I keep meaning to pick it up and try it. Matt's really good at
Yes.
it. Catches a lot of fish with it.
And he was throwing that, but they weren't getting the same bites. And I really think they really wanted that free fall, that wacky rig where it was shimmying all the way down.
Where it just slow fell down.
Slow fall in front of them, and when they ate it, they were eating it like I was removing hooks out
Yeah.
of their throat.
So don't be afraid to try things different. Everyone says they're throwing a Cinco, but there's a lot of different ways to throw a Cinco, especially a Cinco. It
Right.
depends on whether it's weight, if your hook has a weight, all sorts of things. Sometimes those little bit of things matter, even if it's just a Cinco.
Yeah, 100%. It was enough that they borrowed some of my hooks, and we were throwing different Cincos the same way, trying to get the same
See what changes,
reaction,
what
right?
difference,
Yeah,
what
what
works,
the difference
what doesn't
was,
work.
right? Like
Yeah.
that's the whole purpose of doing these videos for you guys, right? Like
Yeah.
trying to give you as much information as we could give you.
And that's a great thing with your fun fishing. That is a great thing to do, especially if you get on a pattern,
Yeah.
is to start screwing with that pattern. Now you know where the fish are, you know what they'll eat.
Yep.
What can you do to get them to keep eating, or how far can you go or change things before they stop eating, and then you come back a little bit and you kind of learn where that lane is that you can fish in. And those little things like that will definitely help you on the tough days when you're not knocking them dead.
Right.
Because now you know. You may even find a better bite than what you thought you had just by playing inside that lane and moving it around.
Correct.
Was there anything else?
No, that was about it. It was a good time. I did see a couple BAM competitors out there. One of them, I was fishing down the bank, and he came around the corner, and I looked at my partner and I was like, "Hey, we're leaving this water," because
Yeah,
it was a wrap boat come around a corner and a BAM tournament's going on.
Yeah.
I turned the trolling motor on high and went out and around him, went by him, and said hi to him on the way and asked him if he was fishing. And he said he was fishing the tournament and he was fishing BAM. And I said, well, that's why I left the water, because I'm just playing out there, right? I don't want to beat up his water if that's what if he's doing it, right? Like,
yeah, if I'm fun fishing, I stay away from other boats completely. If I'm fun fishing, I don't care if they're on the only place in the entire lake that has fish. I'll go find a bite somewhere else. Yep. Especially if somebody's in a tournament, I don't care if they're club level or pro level, like BAM. I'm just gonna stay away from those boats. Everybody's out there to have fun. There's no point in crowding and stacking in on top of each other, especially when somebody's got money on the line and you don't. So, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Oh, had a hot dog day too.
Yeah.
FYI, we added chili to it.
Added chili.
Amazing. It was amazing. I don't know that I'd do it for day one of a tournament, but day two, chili's going on that dog every time.
Yeah. Well, I haven't tried the chili dog yet, but I'm sure I will at some point.
Yes.
As long as there's not a day two. And that's B&W Resort.
Yes.
The hot dogs that are in there, they're great. If you don't know or hasn't seen it in previous videos. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, ask them down below. You can always hit me up on Instagram, Straight Hook Fishing. And until next time, I hope you get them.
I think that qualifies as dink of the day. Can I long arm that one? Does that look bigger?